Okay, today's the day. Here's the new one. There's the old one. Let's get started. So with this tool, this is the hook we're talking about. I've got an arrow here showing that the hook needs... So here's an end-to-end look at our loom. It starts down here, goes up behind the radio, around over the column, and it ends right here. Just like that. That now goes through the clock spring, down around the column, over, through, behind the radio, and to... First of all, I press the switch, and it turns on. Get over here. Alright, let's take a look at this steering wheel. Welcome back to the Land Rover Discovery 3 steering wheel upgrade series. Okay, here's the 2006 Discovery 3. This is a 2011 Range Rover Sport steering wheel, and we've been taking a look at upgrading this wheel. In a previous video, we saw the components required, we saw the switch pack installation, and today we're going to be looking at the steering wheel removal, putting in a new power supply, and then we'll install this steering wheel. And in a future video, we'll be doing these Tiptronic shifters back here. But today we're really going to focus on this heated element and put this steering wheel in here. Like usual, I'm using my HoloLens augmented reality glasses to show you some instructions about this stuff. So, I've got my floating window here, and let's get right into the removal. I've laid out all these steps already, and we'll start here. Step 1. Ensure wheel is centered in the straight ahead position, then turn the ignition off and remove the key. So, I've already got the ignition off and I've centered it here. You can see I've got these holographic guidance lines around the horn. I know if it's straight up and down. We can see the text is centered here with the Land Rover brand mark, the logo. So I think we're ready to go to the next step. Step 2. Disconnect both battery cables, starting with the ground cable first. Use a 13mm socket. Then make sure to wait 10 minutes for the system to fully discharge. Okay, so let's get after this. We can get into the battery box here. Okay, we got our 13mm socket, and we'll start back here with the ground. Don't really need to take that all the way off, but doesn't hurt. Alright, make sure that's not grounding out on anything. There's no contact here for that terminal. We're going to wait a full 10 minutes. The reason we got this warning here is because that airbag is currently energized. We don't want that thing going off on us while we're removing the steering wheel. So this 10 minutes ensures that we wait long enough for all the energy to dissipate out of the system. So we can put the tools down for a little bit. Enjoy a couple of these. It's a great way to pass some time. Okay, let's move on.
Step 3. Release airbag on both sides. Insert hook pointed away from dash. Use the driver airbag module remover, special service tool number 501-106. This is what it looks like.
Let's get this window out of the way and get to work.
So with this tool, this is the hook we're talking about. I've got an arrow here showing that the hook needs to point that way. Alright. Okay, so when you put this tool in, what you're trying to do is feel for a metal, there's a bar in there, and you're gonna pull this way and you'll hear it release. Oh yeah, I felt that already. And you can kind of anticipate that the airbag will start to move. Let's do the other side. Okay, we'll want to flip the tool around to match the arrow. Put it in. There you go, I feel it. Did you see how the airbag started to come forward? That means it's released.
Okay, here. Okay, I'm just going to twist this upside down. Now we've got access. It'll make it nice and easy to work on disconnecting these 3 pieces. Step 4. Remove ground wire from airbag. Okay, here you might find a couple of tools useful, maybe some pliers, maybe a screwdriver. But when we go to do this removal, it's about this ground right here coming off in the direction of attachment along that blade. You can also use your pliers. I think this is best personally. Get a good grip, just like that. Okay, now we've removed the ground wire. Just set that aside. Step 5. Use pliers to release the clips and disconnect both electrical connectors. Okay, on this one, these electrical connectors are held on with these clips. So, we're going to come in here with our pliers. You see how we can just very gently push that in and wiggle it out. You can always watch this video again, but you'll want to remember that the black goes to green. And on this other side, same procedure. There we go. The brown goes to purple. And we're going to be delicate with this airbag because we are going to be reusing it. So we'll just set it aside for now. Step 6. Loosen and remove 16mm bolt. You're probably going to want an extension for this. Okay, here's the 16mm bolt we're going for. Here's our 16mm socket. And it is a bolt like this that's going to be coming out. Might take a little bit of leverage to break that loose, but once it's loose, it's easy. There it goes. See that bad boy? Nice. Just like that. Step 7. Push the pin on the top of the electrical connector to remove it from the clock spring. Okay, so we're gonna kind of have to do a push and a pull to remove this. And why don't we just grab this screwdriver. You can see there's this little piece on top here. So we're gonna find our wiring bundle so we can kind of pull, and we're gonna push with the tip of the screwdriver. So here we go. Push down. Just trying to grab the connector itself. So push down and pull. That was much easier. Try and grab that connector. Okay. Good. Step 8. Remove the steering wheel. Note the center mark. If we just move this out of the way. So some of these wires are going to pass through, remain attached to the vehicle, and some of the other ones are going to remain attached to the steering wheel. That's why we disconnected that, because it stays stuck to the steering wheel. And there is a centering mark on both the wheel and the shaft. You can see it right here at the tip top. So in here on the silver piece, and then here on the cast piece, there's a centering mark at the top. We're going to want to fit that center mark on the other wheel, and that's going to make sure our wheel remains, well, centered. Let's take it off. Step 9. Compare the Discovery 3 wheel to the Range Rover Sport wheel. Let's do it. Let's move this window out of the way. So we've got the old wheel on the left, we've got the new wheel on the right, Discovery 3 wheel on the left, Range Rover Sport wheel on the right. Just from looking here, you can tell that that one's a bit older and this one's a bit newer. Look at the shape of the buttons. But in the Discovery 3, it's a bit more basic here. And you'll also notice we have, on the new wheel, we have two sets of left, right, up, down controls. These are both going to function for volume. Whereas in the past, that mode selector, volume, and track seek was only on the right-hand side. These will both be programmed for that now, so that's kind of cool. Some things stay the same, like the cruise control set point, cancel, and up down. Well, we've got the set point, resume, and up down here. So cruise is the same. We've got our call controls on the right, and those call controls previously were down under here on the Discovery 3. So they've moved up a little bit to make room for that heated function. So in general, quite a similar wheel. Oh, maybe the last thing to note is we've still got our horn activations in the same spots here. One of the last things I want to note is that I had to put a cover on here because this old wheel was just really worn out. So it'll be nice to have a better grip on a good feeling leather wrapped wheel from the Range Rover. One of the most important differences between the old wheel and the new wheel is how many connections are coming through. So in the Discovery 3, all we had was the ground to the airbag and the button input wiring. But to get that heated function, we still have the ground, we still have the input wiring, but there's another cable here, and this is going to function to provide power source for the heat. And that's why we have to put a new clock spring in. So let's get to that. Okay, now let's run some wiring. We're making great progress on this steering wheel upgrade. And we just finished with the removal, so now let's do the power supply wiring. There's a few more steps in this task. Step 1 is to remove the 4 trim pieces. So let me get my holographic guide out of the way here, and let's take a look at the trim. Alright, we gotta just start taking pieces out so we can access the wiring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 1 We want both of these pieces here. 4. We'll just set that stuff aside. Isn't it pretty cool how I can keep these holograms in place no matter what angle I'm looking at? That's the benefit of augmented reality, is I can work with my hands. I've got my headset here showing me what to do, where to do it, and all this reference information. Okay. Step 2 in the power supply wiring is to remove the gear selector lever right there. Be careful when you do this because it takes a lot of upward force. You don't want to bonk yourself in the head. And you're going to want to press this in. Same thing you press when you're shifting gears. You press that in and we pull up. Just like that. Okay, step 3 for the power supply wiring. We're going to remove the center console and set it aside. To do this, we'll just pull straight back and release 4 clips. I got some arrows down here. You can just kind of grab right here. Let's move this window. Oh, and before we pull this thing back, maybe we want to get these tools out of the way. I'll set them down there for now. And there's that bolt also for the steering wheel. Okay, so we're going to pull this thing back. I just like to grab right here. You can kind of get your fingernails under there. You can see here where I'm grabbing. Just like that. See how that came off? Now, I got all this wiring and crap on here. I got my microphone that goes to my aux. I got my phone mounts. I got all these wiring here and this power supply. So I'm just going to be cautious and pull that stuff out too. So it all comes out as a unit. Set this in the back here. This will give me a lot of room, now that that's out of the way, for threading the wiring up and into the clock spring. Okay, step 4. Remove the 2 screws. They're Torx T25. Okay, so these are supposed to be the Torx screws, but mine have been replaced in the past. So step 5. Lift the console up and set it aside. Okay, when we lift this, we're just going to take our hand and kind of go right underneath this trim. Same thing on this side. We can kind of feel right underneath that trim. And when we lift, kind of lift straight up. Feel that one's coming. There it goes. A few more clips. Might be helpful to open this. Now, this is still going to be connected by wires, so maybe it's a good idea to get this stuff out of here. Don't want to lose those screws. This came off. You probably don't want that to come off.
So yeah, there's all this wiring in here. We're gonna have to tap into that stuff for the shifter, the paddle shifters. But for now, we can just kind of bend it over to the side, because our goal is to just get access to the cigarette lighter. I can press this button, and that gets rid of those holograms. Makes it easier to see what's going on. So, let's see. There we go. That'll be fine, twisted aside just like that.
Step 6. Remove the cigar lighter assembly. 2 Torx T25. Okay, now that we got access here, we can use our Torx bit, T25, and this whole assembly down here is kind of like one unit. Let's just loosen these couple screws. One up here. Okay, now that we took these 2 screws out, we can kind of get our fingers under those tabs where the screws were. Or just kind of grab the, maybe I'll just grab the mount and pull straight back. There we go. Now this thing's just kind of connected by the wiring, and we want to get back here. Now it's just hanging on the wiring, and we'll work with that later. Step 7. Remove HVAC assembly. 4 Torx T20. Okay, we're going to remove this middle HVAC panel. That's just going to give us space to work with the wiring back there. Two. 3. 4. Okay. Yeah, that's loose. Nice. Now we can get behind there and work on some stuff.
Step 8. Remove lower column trim panel. 2 Torx T25. Okay, we're going to take these 2 screws out. Now it's pretty easy. We just pull down on this trim right here. We'll be able to find a wiring route now all the way up, and we'll finally have access to the clock spring. So the new clock spring we're putting in has a 3rd wiring port. We'll look at that soon. Step 9. Route power loom through dash. Secure with zip ties. Wiring loom part number HSWLOOM.
Yeah, so here's the loom that I got, and I'm just going to use these zip ties, and we'll run it into the dash. So basically, we're going to go from the cigarette lighter here, back, up, behind the radio, then we're going to curve around into the steering column, and come around and up here. On the new clock spring, there's an additional power source connector for that heated wheel. So this will end up going right in there, and the rest of this will run through the dash. Let's go ahead and route it in there. Yeah, so I'll set those down for a second. And I just wanted you to see how with these glasses that understand where I am, I can walk all the way around here. I've got my window there with information. I can still see where that stuff's gonna be. And so when I come to the other side of the car, the route out of the cigarette lighter, up behind the radio, back here around the column and into the clock spring. This is what I mean by 3D augmented reality. I have this basically entire schematic diagram available to help me while my hands are free to do the work, and that's what smart glasses are good for. Let's get after it. So I'm not going to plug this in yet,
but this is going to intercept there. What I am going to do is just make sure I have enough length and have everything situated. I know I'm going to need to go in here, and I want to go through this same access port that the existing wiring is going through. And I can feed it up to my second hand here. Maybe I'll follow this loom. There's a loom already here, so might as well just follow it. Let me unplug this, give myself a little bit more working room. Yeah, that should make it easier. One's a bulb, and one's a power connector. Okay. There we go. Right up through here. Just like we said, back 90 now. Let's see if we want to go straight across like we were saying. Let's just keep feeding it. I'll leave myself something to work with here. Come up. We're really just going to go straight underneath this stereo. Okay, let's go to the other side. And we'll secure it with zip ties after. First, let's just get it routed. Here we go. We've got plenty of room to work with on this end. And what I'd like to do, you see these support brackets? I want to go behind those. You can also see this wiring loom. That clip is going to go onto this stud back here when we put it back together. But for now, let's just make sure we're out of the way. You can see how I'm taking this end and I'm going behind the support brackets. And each time I go behind a bracket, here you see it right here, it's just like we said. So it comes up, goes behind these brackets, and I'm just pulling it through. And now that I'm behind that bracket, I can just kind of pull the slack through. You don't really ever want it to be twisted. Then we'll just go bracket by bracket until we kind of get it where we want it. Take our time. And since we took this off, we can look down from above. See here? So let's just keep following our arrows. You can even see down here into there. Next, I'll just get it through to the column. Now you can't see, but I can feel that I'm following those arrows. And just like before, when we get it through, behind the next piece, pull the slack. We'll probably end up leaving a little bit here. You can see we're following that route pretty much exactly. Now that's way too much line, but I got to go back around. So let's do that next. I think it's going to be better actually to go over the top. Let's take this out of there. Okay, so you can see where I am here. I think what I'd like to do is stick to my plan. I want to be on the other side of this. This is kind of like a little flexible piece there, and I'm gonna push this behind it. You see I can kind of lift up on that. I'm just gonna push this behind. Following our route, just like said. And so now, here we are. We're gonna end up having just enough to connect. We've got just enough to connect to the new clock spring when we put it in. Let's zip tie it. Okay, I'm not gonna go too tight with these zip ties until we get the ends connected, but I want to keep them kind of steady for now, so it's a little bit loose. I took the extra and I coiled it up here. I think it'll be nice if it's coiled, and there'll be plenty of room under this HVAC. So let's put a couple zip ties on this coil. one. Maybe on the other end here. Yeah, see, that's gonna be nice. That'll just stay right down in there. Now, where it goes down, see when I pull this, how it's pulling there? That tells me that's about the right spot, so I'll just grab this wire loom coming out of the radio. Oops. Like that. So I'm starting to feel pretty good about this. See, it's not going to get snagged on anything. I think we'll still be able to move this column. This is an adjustable steering column. I don't think we're going to pinch on anything the way we've got it, so that's good. But I got a couple more zip ties. So let's see, maybe one right here where it first comes out. I think that'd be smart. With this loom here. Okay, I like it. A little bit loose here, but I don't think it's going to hurt anything. So, I think we're ready to go to the next step. Step 10. Intercept power at the cigar lighter. Let me show you what we mean by intercept. This is the loom. And if you'll notice, it has the same male and female as the factory cigarette lighter here. So when it says plug in, that's the light. We'll put the bulb to the side. So to plug it in, we get the orange connector from the vehicle. We get our intercept loom and listen and watch. Clicks right in. Now the intercept loom goes into the back of the cigarette lighter there. So I think I'll go ahead and put this light in place. It'll be easier right now. See what I'm doing. There you go. Okay, now that bulb's in place. And now we just kind of... Oh, guess I'll have to try it again in a minute. But let's go ahead and we'll plug in our loom into the back of the cigar lighter. Just like that. And then this bulb goes back where it was. Right up there. It's kind of a pressure fit. So now let's just kind of push this back into place. You can see that this connector is going to go in there. That connector is going to go in there. There you go. You just kind of work it in. Oh yeah, see, look how good that went in. Now let's slide this one in. Yep, just slid right in. So that stuff's all ready for its screws. I mentioned this to you earlier. This wire loom has a clip, and that clip goes onto a locating stud back up here. So I kind of have to just trust me what I'm doing with that. Okay, look at that. Perfect fit. It's like it never came apart. I'm just going to tighten this stuff up while we're here, because we're done with this part. We don't need any more access back here. We don't need more access back here. Okay, these are those Torx 20s. T20. don't want to go too tight with these, but plenty snug is good. Nice. Cigar unit, cigar lighter, and ash and stuff. These are T25s. All right, I'm feeling great about that. Let's keep going. Step 11. Remove 2 electrical connectors and loosen all 4 clock spring screws. Okay, so here's these 2 connectors. Just like all or any of them, you push on a release tab. And this one, the tab's on the bottom. Okay, those are the 2 connectors. Now we've got these 4 screws. So the thing about clock springs, they got these racetracks in here and they can only kind of turn so many ways. So I'm going to keep this in the orientation it's in so that when I store it, probably never need it again, but just in case, when I store it, it's centered just the way it came off the vehicle. I'm going to be real cautious of that. Now all we got to do is put it back together. Okay, we're making good progress. We've done the removal, we've done the power supply wiring, and now we're on to the installation. Step 1. Steering wheel installation. Install 3 electrical connectors and tighten all 4 clock spring screws. Okay, we've got 3 arrows here now because we've got 3 wires, and we're going to use the same mounting. And this is the new clock spring with Land Rover part number 018556. And when it comes to these 3 connections, you can see we've got 3 there. So here's the new one in my left hand. And if I compare it to the old one, so the difference is pretty obvious. You can see there's an extra input down here, and that's for that power source that we just installed. Otherwise, they're identical. They have two inputs for the airbag, and right here is where the heat is going to go out. So see, that's the idea. The power source goes in, it can turn with the steering wheel, and the power source goes out into the wheel itself. Let's put these screws in. Alright, now for the wiring. Let's do our new one first. Why wouldn't we? You can only kind of go one way because of this little tab on the bottom. Nice and snug. Let's do this black one next. Goes in the back here. Heard it snap in, feels good. Last but not least, the yellow one. Okay.
I think we're in business. Now, we can tighten these zip ties. Like that. Let's kind of put the tails out of the way. Okay, we tighten those zip ties, and now let's just make sure this wiring is all down and out of the way. Down low. And we're going to need to put our cover back on. It wants to go up under this kind of rubber. There we go. Gotta get that under this seal. So if we can get that in place, then this upper piece will just snap right in. Or the lower piece, sorry. Yeah, there's about 20 freaking tabs to line up, so just gotta be patient, take our time, line everything up. Like that. There it is. Did you hear that snap? That was a good sign. And look, our holographic arrows are still showing us where everything is. Let's put the screws in. Okay. This one goes right here. Cool. Time to put the wheel on. Alright, step 2 for our steering wheel installation is to route the wiring through the wheel and align the splines using the center mark. That's this wiring here. But before I do that, I just want to put this back in place. This is really easy. Just kind of slides and snaps in. There you go. And looks complete. Let's put this back in place too, for now. Just want to get things back together. Now we can do the wiring. We're about to put the steering wheel on now. There is a alignment mark at the very center of this splined piece of the wheel. And we'll make sure that that lines up here. And these wires will pass through here. So let's do it. Get those right through there. Let's hold the wiring out of the way and look at our spline alignment. Oh, there it went. Let's look. One tooth off, or is it perfect? I think it's perfect. Oh, it feels good already. Step 3. Install the electrical connectors for the heat power supply and the clock spring. These 3 will go to the airbag, but I do need to install these 2. And let's start with the power supply for the heat. I can do a good job and make sure this stuff isn't too tangled. So again, it's got only one way it can go in. There we go, we've completed the circuit. That now goes through the clock spring, down around the column, over through behind the radio, and to our cigar lighter power splice. That's awesome. That's what we just completed there. And this is the factory input for the various signals that come out of the steering wheel. So let's slide that in. Nice and easy. There it goes. Okay, feels good. I think that's good. Okay, the wheel's aligned. The 2 electrical connectors are in, one for heat and one for the rest of the controls. And now we're ready to move on. Step 4. Tighten the bolt. 63 Newton meters or 46 foot-pounds. Okay, we got our torque wrench here. Got it set properly to the right torque. Let's go ahead and get the bolt started by hand. Always a good idea. Okay, got our extension. It's at 16 millimeter. Let's go ahead and do our torque. There it goes. Okay, well, hope it's not out of alignment. It took quite a bit of force. Step 5. Connect ground wire to airbag. Attach both electrical connectors. Purple goes to brown, green goes to black. Note, route the wires through the guide. We want to make sure that we get this wiring set up right when we put the airbag in. So we got to make sure we push the wires through this guide here. We make sure to use these guides for the wires. So let's go ahead and do purple to brown. Just push it right in. And black goes to green, and the ground goes here. Just like that. Now, here's what I'm talking about. These wires can be clipped in here. It might look like I'm doing it opposite because I'm about to flip it around. So anyways, make sure those are all in there. And we're almost done. Okay, I can feel it. Step 6. Push airbag evenly into place, confirmed by 2 audible clicks. You can push this right into place, and we should hear. What's going to click is these bars. These bars are going to get caught. We got it. That is great. Step 7, the last step. Reconnect battery ground cable last. Use our 13 millimeter socket. Do the positive terminal first. It slides right on, doesn't it? Okay, nice. Tight on there. Feels good. And we'll do the ground last. Oh, we're getting somewhere. Okay. Well, only one thing to do now. Try it out. Land Rover heated steering wheel. See if it works. Oh, yeah, it's returned here. Windshield wipers are on. Turn signal's on. Okay, let's try it. Fired right up. Feels normal. Let's try the button. Ho 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 ho! LED's on. Feels good. Oh. Yeah, it's getting warm. Wait. It's getting warm. It's getting warm. It's getting warm. That's awesome. Wow, that's gonna be so nice. That's really exciting. It's warm. Oh, sweet. Heated steering wheel. Yes. Look at this. Here's the button right there. Alright, here's the heated switch. Works exactly as you'd expect. And it gets hot all along. The whole wheel gets hot. In all spots. That is very nice. Call that a success. Let's make sure everything works. First of all, I press the switch and it turns on. How about the stereo? Volume. Volume's working. It's in a low power mode. But look, volume works on this side. You can see it changing, and on this side. Mode, CD, FM, mode, CD, FM. Left and right is seek on both sides. So that's great. Our steering wheel controls work for volume. Alright. Cruise control we can't test right now. How about the horn? That works. That works. Cool. Oh, it's awesome. So, in the next video, we'll look at the Tiptronic shifters. Shift down over here, shift up over here. These shifters need to communicate with the manual mode in here, so we have to do some additional wiring. So stay tuned to the next video, and we'll take a look at the paddle shifters. Hopefully we don't have to use so many tools next time.